Here's something that's going to change how you see every interaction you've had with a woman in the last 6 months. She's been signaling sexual interest, not with obvious moves, but with words and moments you probably dismissed as random. As a woman, I know exactly what she's doing because I've done it myself. That thing she said that seemed a little odd? It wasn't odd. It was deliberate. And the fact that you didn't catch it made her wonder if you ever would. These signals aren't in any playbook. But once you recognize them, you'll realize she's been practically begging you to make a move, and you had no idea. 1. She tells you she just got out of the shower. You're mid-conversation, maybe texting, maybe on a call, and she casually drops that she just got out of the shower. It seems like nothing, just context for why she took a minute to respond, right? It's not. She just invited you to picture her wet, warm, and undressed, and she knows exactly what she did. Most guys hear this and think logistics. She's explaining a delay, but she had 100 ways to explain that delay. She chose the one that plants an image, the one that makes you wonder, even just for a second, what she looks like right now. That wasn't an accident. She's testing whether you'll take the bait or let it float past like every other guy who didn't know what he was hearing. If you want to pass this test, you don't ignore it and you don't get crude. You pause. You let one beat of silence land. Then you say something like, noted or dangerous information. Keep it light, but knowing. She'll feel the recognition, and that's the point. 2. She mentions what she sleeps in without being asked. You're talking about sleep schedules, or maybe she's complaining about being tired, and out of nowhere she tells you she sleeps in an old t-shirt, or just shorts, or nothing when it's hot enough. She delivers it like trivia. But listen to what just happened. She painted herself in bed for you without you even asking. This is one of the most underrated sexual signals a woman sends because it doesn't register as flirtation. It sounds like she's just being comfortable with you. And she is. But comfort isn't why she volunteered it. She wants the image in your head. She wants you to know what happens when she's alone at night. She's handing you a frame that most guys completely miss. If she didn't want you thinking about her in bed, she wouldn't have told you what she wears there. The information had no other utility. When you hear this, don't ask follow-ups that turn it into an interview. Just let it land. You can say something like, I didn't need to know that, but I'm not going to forget it. That response tells her, I heard you, I understood, and I'm not running from it. 3. She complains about being touch-starved around you. She says it like it's just a general frustration. She hasn't been hugged in weeks. She misses physical affection. She feels like no one's touched her in forever. And she's saying this, specifically, to you. Not in a group chat, not to her girlfriends, to you, one-on-one. This is not a diary entry. This is a door. She's telling you there's a vacancy and she's watching to see if you'll step toward it. Most guys hear this and offer sympathy. That sucks. Hopefully that changes soon. They treat it like a problem she wants to vent about. But she didn't bring it up for emotional support. She brought it up because she wants you to hear the absence and imagine being the one who fills it. The next time a woman tells you she's touch-starved, don't just acknowledge it. Acknowledge it and close a little distance. You can say, come here, if you're in person. Or, if it's over text, you can tell her you're adding that to the list of things to fix. What you don't do is act like you didn't catch what she was really saying, because she'll assume you didn't want to. If you're the kind of guy who wants to stop second-guessing and start recognizing what's actually happening, let me know by leaving clarity in the comments. 4. She describes physical sensations when talking to you. She's not just telling you about her day. She's telling you how her body felt during her day. Her shoulders are tight. Her legs are restless. Her skin feels sensitive because of the weather. She keeps bringing her physical state into the conversation even when it has no relevance to the topic. That's the point. When a woman starts narrating her body to you, she's not making small talk. She's drawing your attention below the neck. She's training you to think about her physically without doing anything explicit. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice this doesn't happen with everyone. She doesn't tell her coworkers about the tension in her lower back. She doesn't mention to her friends that she feels restless in a way she can't explain. She tells you, because she wants you associated with her body's experience. The move here isn't to diagnose or fix, it's to match. You can say something like, I've been carrying tension in my neck all week. Must be something in the air. Now you've joined her in the body awareness space, and that's where she wanted you. 5. She asks if you work out, then doesn't follow up. She asks if you work out. You say yes or no, and then she just moves on. No follow-up, no deeper interest. Just that one question floating in the air like it didn't mean anything, but it meant everything. She wasn't gathering fitness data. She was giving herself permission to think about your body, and she wanted you to know she was thinking about it. The The question itself was the message. If she wanted to know your gym routine, she'd ask your gym routine. She didn't. She asked whether you're someone who takes care of his body, dropped that question between you like a lit match, and then walked away from it. Most guys get confused by this. They wonder why she didn't follow up. But the follow-up wasn't the point. The question was the point. And if you want to reward that energy, you don't over-explain your answer. You smirk and say, "Why is it working?" Let her sit in the tension she created. She'll love it. 6. She brings up her body in the context of discomfort. She tells you her jeans are digging in, that her bra strap keeps slipping, that she wore the wrong underwear for this dress and now she's regretting it. She frames it as a complaint, but pay attention to what she just made you imagine. This is one of the sneakiest sexual signals because it's disguised as frustration. She's technically complaining about her clothes, but she's really pulling your attention to what's underneath them. No woman accidentally discusses her underwear situation with a man she's not thinking about sexually. She's not venting to customer service. She's telling you her body is on her mind, and she wants it on yours too. When you hear this, you don't problem solve. You don't offer fashion advice. You let the image she handed you just exist in the air between you. You can say, "Sounds like a wardrobe emergency," with a slight smile. Or, "You're making it really hard to focus right now." Either way, you're telling her, "I caught that, and I'm not pretending I didn't." 7. She tells you exactly where she's tense. Not just that she's stressed, that her neck is locked up, that her lower back has been killing her for days, that she holds all her tension right between her shoulder blades. She's pointing to specific areas of her body like she's giving you a map. And she is. She's telling you where she wants to be touched without telling you she wants to be touched. Most men hear, "My shoulders are so tight," and say, "That sucks." They miss the fact that she's not looking for sympathy. She's looking for hands. She's describing a problem that requires physical contact to solve, and she's presenting it directly to you. If she just wanted to complain, she'd be vague. The specificity is the giveaway. The phrase right here, even when spoken, is an invitation. She's already imagined your hands on her. You responding to this correctly doesn't mean lunging for her trapezius. It means acknowledging what she offered. You might say, "I'm pretty good with my hands, just saying." Or, "That sounds like something that needs fixing." Keep it confident, not desperate. She'll escalate if she wants to, and now she knows you understood. 8. She mentions she can't sleep lately. She brings up insomnia, restlessness, lying awake staring at the ceiling. She doesn't say why. She just lets you know her nights have been long and her bed has felt emptier than usual. This is one of the more vulnerable versions of sexual signaling. She's telling you her nights are incomplete. She's alone with her thoughts, alone in her sheets, and something's keeping her up. She's not asking for melatonin recommendations. She's telling you there's a gap, a presence missing, and she wants you to imagine being in that space. The insomnia isn't the point. The empty bed is. Most men offer solutions. Have you tried reading before bed? That's not what she's looking for. She wants to know if you'll acknowledge the loneliness beneath the complaint. You can say, "Sounds like you could use some company." Not pushy, not crude, just aware. That awareness is what separates you from every guy who tried to fix her circadian rhythm. 9. She asks what cologne you're wearing, then goes quiet. You're sitting close enough for her to catch your scent. She leans in, maybe subtly, maybe not, and asks what you're wearing. You tell her, and then she doesn't say anything. She just breathes, maybe nods, maybe looks away like she's processing something private. That silence is arousal she doesn't know how to verbalize. Scent is one of the most primal triggers of sexual attraction, and when a woman asks about yours, she's not making conversation. She's inhaling you. She's associating your presence with something that just hit her nervous system below the level of thought, and the quiet that follows is her trying to recover from it. Most guys fill that silence with jokes or brand names. Don't. Let the moment stay heavy. If you want to push it, you can say, "You can get closer if you need to," or just hold the eye contact and let her come back to you. That pause after she asks is one of the most charged moments in early attraction. Protect it. 10. She tells you what kind of hands she likes. She says she likes big hands, or rough hands, or hands that look like they've done actual work. And she's saying this to you while you're sitting across from her, glancing at yours as she says it. She's not discussing anatomy. She's casting you. She wants to know if you fit the role she's already imagining. When a woman volunteers her physical preferences directly to a man, she's asking him to measure up. She's also planting a thought. Are his hands like that? And what would they feel like? This is one of the clearest sexual signals a woman can give, and most men brush it off as random commentary. It's not random. She's picturing your hands on her body and giving you the playbook for what she wants to feel. You don't need to audition. Just own what you've got. You can say, "You'll have to let me know if these qualify." Not try hard, not self-conscious, just confident. And if she smiles, looks down, or goes quiet, you already have your answer. 11. She references how long it's been since she's been held. She doesn't say she wants sex. She doesn't even say she wants you. She says it's been a while since someone really held her, since she fell asleep with arms around her, since she felt that specific kind of weight against her body. And she says it like she's just thinking out loud, but she's saying it to you. This is longing wrapped in safety. She's telling you her body has been waiting for something, and she's framing it in the least threatening way possible so you don't run. But make no mistake, this is a sexual invitation wearing soft clothes. She's not describing a hug from her mom. She's describing a man's body pressed against hers in the dark. And she's wondering if you're paying close enough attention to hear what she's really asking for. When this happens, don't just nod along. Don't say, "Yeah, that's rough." Step toward it. You can say, "That sounds like something I could fix." Or even just, "Come here." The point is to stop treating her confession like a diary entry and start treating it like the door she just opened. Because that's what it is. 12. She notices your physical changes before anyone else. You got a haircut 3 days ago. You've been hitting the gym more. Your jawline's a little sharper. Your shoulders sit differently. Nobody said anything, but she noticed. She mentioned it like it was obvious. Like of course she saw it, and then moved on like it wasn't a confession. But it was. When a woman tracks your physical changes that closely, she's studying you. She's paying the kind of attention to your body that most people reserve for their own reflection. And she's not doing that because she finds you academically interesting. She's doing it because she's attracted to you and her eyes keep going where her mind already lives. Most men hear, "Did you do something different?" and shrug it off. They don't realize she's been staring long enough to notice things no one else caught. That's not casual observation. That's desire wearing a polite mask. When she points out a change, don't minimize it. Let her see you receive it. A simple, "You're paying attention" with eye contact does more than any humble deflection ever could. 13. She brings up temperature when she's near you. She says she's warm, or flushed, or weirdly cold in a way that makes her want to move closer. She keeps referencing how her body feels in terms of temperature, and she's doing it while sitting right next to you. This is one of the oldest unconscious giveaways of arousal. When attraction spikes, blood flow changes, skin warms, pupils dilate, breath shifts. She may not even fully realize why she suddenly feels overheated or why goosebumps just ran up her arms, but her body knows. And when she narrates it out loud, "Why is it so hot in here?" Or, "I just got chills," she's giving you a real-time readout of what's happening beneath her skin. You don't need to call it out, but you can play with it. If she says she's warm, you can lean closer and say, "Might be the company." If she says she's cold, you offer your jacket or your arm. The key is recognizing that temperature talk is body talk. She's telling you her nervous system just activated. That's not small talk. That's a green light wrapped in weather. 14. She asks if you've ever given a massage. She doesn't ask for one. She just asks if you've ever given one. Are you good at it? Do you know what you're doing with your hands? She floats the question like it's hypothetical, but nothing about this is hypothetical. She's interviewing you for a position she's already imagined filling. She wants to know if you're the kind of man who can touch her in a way that feels intentional, skilled, present. And she's doing it without technically asking for anything. So if you miss the signal, she can pretend it was just conversation. It wasn't. When a woman asks about your hands, your experience, your physical capability in the realm of touch, she's mentally auditioning you. She's wondering what it would feel like to be on the receiving end. Your answer matters less than your energy. Don't be clinical. Don't give a resume. Just smile and say something like, "I've been told I know what I'm doing. Guess you'd have to find out." Now she's thinking about finding out, which is exactly where she wanted to be. 15. She tells you she's sore in places that require touch. Her hips are tight. Her lower back is killing her. Her thighs are sore from a workout she did 2 days ago. Notice the locations. These aren't her elbows. These aren't her wrists. She's drawing your attention to the parts of her body that live closer to her center, and she's doing it without ever having to say what she's really inviting. This is strategic vulnerability. She's presenting a problem that could only be solved by hands that would have to go to places that aren't casual, and she's trusting you to understand the implication without making her spell it out. Most men hear this and either ignore it completely or fumble into awkwardness. They don't realize she's already imagined what comes next. She just wants to know if you're brave enough to meet her there. You don't have to offer a solution immediately, but you can acknowledge the terrain she just opened. Something like, "That sounds like it needs attention," keeps the energy alive without overstepping. And if she responds with something like, "You volunteering?" now you know exactly where this is headed. If you've made it this far, you already know this is hitting different. Go ahead and drop a like. Then subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. 16. She wonders out loud what you smell like up close. You're not even that close. Maybe across the table, maybe on the other side of the couch. And she says something like, "I wonder what you smell like," or "I bet you smell good up close." She says it like a passing thought, but that thought came from somewhere. She's imagining proximity she doesn't have yet. She's mentally closing the distance between you and wondering what her senses would experience if she did. This isn't about cologne. It's about closeness, about pressing her face against your neck, about inhaling you in a moment that hasn't happened yet, but lives vividly in her head. When a woman voices this kind of curiosity, she's telling you her body wants data it can only get by being near you. She's not being weird. She's being honest in a way most people are too guarded to be, and your job is to reward that honesty. You can say, "Only one way to find out," or lean slightly closer and say, "Come here and check." Either way, you're not letting the moment dissolve. You're answering her curiosity with an invitation. That's what she was hoping for. 17. She describes her ideal night in with suspicious detail. She's talking about how she likes to spend her evenings, candles, soft music, a blanket, something good on TV that she's not really watching, a glass of wine, and she's describing all of this like she's painting a picture. For you, in real time, with details that feel less like a preference list and more like an invitation. She's not making small talk about her hobbies. She's showing you the set, the staging, the room she's imagined you walking into. When a woman gives you the specifics of her alone time rituals, unprompted, detailed, sensory-rich, she's not just being descriptive. She's casting you into the scene without technically asking you to be in it. She wants you to see yourself there. She's waiting to see if you'll mention it. Something like, "That sounds like something I'd like to see," shifts you from observer to participant. And that shift is everything. She doesn't want you to admire the fantasy. She wants you to step into it. 18. She mentions watching something alone that wasn't meant to be watched alone. She casually brings up that she watched a movie last night, a specific kind of movie, something romantic, something intimate, something that felt a little too heavy for a solo viewing. And she mentions it with a tone that says, "I noticed I was alone while watching this." This is her telling you the absence was loud. She watched something designed for two people and she felt the empty space on the couch beside her. She's not reviewing the film. She's describing a mood, a longing, a gap that you could have filled. And when a woman shares this kind of detail, she's wondering if you'll catch the subtext or just comment on the movie. Don't comment on the movie. Say something like, "That sounds like the kind of thing you shouldn't have to watch alone," or "Next time, invite me." You're not being presumptuous. You're answering the unspoken question she was too cautious to ask directly. That's what she wanted. She just needed you to hear it first. 19. She asks where you sleep in your bed. Left side? Right side? Middle? She asks like it's a fun random question. Like she's just curious about your quirks. But this isn't about sleep positions. This is about mapping your space. She wants to know where you'd be so she can picture where she'd be. When a woman asks about your bed, she's already mentally inside it. She's imagining the orientation, the distance, the way she'd fit beside you. This is one of the quietest and most telling sexual signals because it requires no flirtation, no risk, just a question that seems like nothing. But no one asks about bed layout unless they've already imagined sharing it. Don't brush this one off with logistics. Meet her where she's really asking. You can say, "Right side, plenty of room on the left." Let her hear the space you just offered. Let her imagine settling into it. She already was. Now she knows you saw it too. 20. She tells you she had a dream about you, then changes the subject. This is the most telling of them all. She mentions, almost in passing, that you showed up in her dream last night. Then she immediately pivots, changes the topic, laughs it off, acts like it was nothing. It wasn't nothing. Dreams are unfiltered. They're where the subconscious plays out what the waking mind won't admit. And when she tells you that you appeared in hers, she's confessing something she doesn't fully want to confess. She doesn't give details because the details were probably too intimate to say out loud. The quick subject change isn't avoidance, it's protection. She said more than she meant to, and she's hoping you won't push. But she also hopes you'll notice, that you'll file it away. that you'll understand what it means when someone you're attracted to starts appearing in the unguarded theater of your sleep. You don't need to interrogate her. Just let her know it landed. You can say, "Interesting. I'm going to need more details on that eventually. Not now, eventually." It lets her know you understood, and that the door is open when she's ready to walk through it. Recognizing these signals doesn't mean acting on every one of them. It means understanding when desire has already entered the room, quietly, and deciding whether to meet it or let the moment pass. Because sexual tension rarely stays still. It either builds towards something, or it dissolves into wondering what could have been. Once you start noticing how she communicates attraction through words, the next thing you'll want to understand is how she communicates it through touch. Because the way a woman holds you tells you more than anything she could say out loud. The next video breaks down the difference between how she hugs you when she sees you as a friend, and how she hugs you when she's imagining something more,